Hey everyone, it's Meg. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about how I cover the dark circles under my eyes. We all have them. Maybe we didn't get a really good night's sleep. Maybe we're feeling sick. Maybe they're even hereditary. In my case, I've had these under eye circles for a really long time. They are hereditary. Maybe they're allergies. They just happen, and there's no real cure for under eye circles as far as I know when it comes to skincare. So your best bet is really just to cover those suckers up with makeup. This is what we're going over today. We gonna cover these suckers up. This really only takes just a few minutes, but the process is completely worth it. I'm gonna show you a few of my favorite products that I use on a day-to-day basis, and then I'm just gonna go through it with you. Let's go ahead and get started, guys. Alright, so I don't have any eye makeup underneath this eye right now, and this one isn't set or anything, so I have some concealer and corrector there. So the first thing that I like to do is color correct. There's a number of things that you can do, products that you can use, and I'm going to show you a few. But color correcting has kind of been all the rage recently, and it's using a pigmented color product to cancel out the color that is underneath, that you're trying to treat, whether it's redness, darkness, bluish tones, etc. My under eye circles tend to be kind of blue-brown, and what I've found best for me is that peach and orange really brightens that area up as well. So if you have more of brown under eyes, they're just really dark and brown, definitely go with a pink tone. What I would really recommend though, so you can really experience a variety of color correctors, is to get a color correcting palette. This one is the STILA Correct and for Perfect palette. It has 5 cream products and 2 powders. The other thing that I've sworn by for years is the BOBBI Brown Corrector, and I use the shade Light Peach. I've used this for an upward of 5 or more years, and I use this underneath my concealer. You're correcting and then you're concealing. Another option to the corrector is the NYX Dark Circle Concealer, and I have it in the medium shade. You don't necessarily want to go with a light shade as a corrector. Really peachy tones does so much better than trying to get a light concealer right under there immediately. I have already applied some eye cream. Sometimes I'll even put some eyeshadow primer under there if I'm feeling fancy. I do not want this to crease, and I really want it to stay hydrated and not get dry. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to color correct, then I conceal. And if I'm feeling like my circles are extra dark, I'll conceal and then I highlight. Today I'm going to use my Stila Correct and Perfect palette. I even just use my fingers. I'll take my ring or middle finger and just tap it in. It's not going in a large space on your face. It's really just going in the spots that you're really trying to treat first. I really have been using a lot of this peach shade and this darker orange shade a lot. I'm going to take a little bit of the dark orange and put this in the darkest spot of my under eye circle, and it looks really silly. And then I take the lighter peach and I make sure to dab that right next to it. It's really dark and it kind of fades a little bit. That's what my under eye circles do. If yours do something different, don't feel like you need to copy my method. I don't try to get a beauty blender in here right now, because if I do, I feel like the product really goes away and blends out, and that's not what I want. I really want to cover these circles. Let's say my circles are super dark and I just want to conceal before I highlight. I'll take a tiny bit amount of just a concealer that's like my skin tone, not a highlighting one that's bright or lighter. And this is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, and I'm just gonna dab that. I'm taking the tiniest bit amount right there. I don't like to have a ton of product under my eyes, otherwise I feel like it's gonna cake. Then I'll take, this is a damp Real Techniques blending sponge, and then I will go in and just barely tap that in. Then after that, I'm going to take in my brightening concealer. Three of my favorites right now is my all-time, one of my holy grail concealers is the Maybelline Fit Me, and I get it in Fair, which is the lightest shade. I also love, as another drugstore option, is the LA Girl Pro Conceal, and this is also in the lightest shade, which is Porcelain. I've just been using this non-stop. This is the Urban Decay Naked Skin Weightless Complete Coverage Concealer, and I have it in the shade Light Warm. So what I do is I draw a little rectangle, not rectangle, I don't know my shapes. I draw a little triangle right under the eye, and sometimes I'll even pull it all the way back there, and it looks really crazy and like it's a ton of product, but it's really not because I'm going to blend it out. And then again, I take my Real Techniques blending sponge. I'm taking that Real Techniques blending sponge and I'm going over that highlighting concealer. If you don't have time to do all of that stuff, I would definitely recommend some like products that are just really great under the eye for concealing, and they're good by themselves. And the first one is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Dark Circle Eraser Treatment, which this is in the shade Neutralizer. This is great just to swipe on, tap out and go. And then another one is the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye. It's so thick and creamy, and I feel it does an amazing job at covering the under eyes. And I just tap this in, set it with powder, and go as well. If you are a low maintenance kind of person, you want one product to do that for you, these are really great products. Now that I have put this stuff on my face, I'm going to make sure that I set it. And setting it is absolutely crucial to the success of how long it's gonna stay. I'm using the RCMA No Color Powder. I absolutely hate the packaging on this thing. It's just the worst. So what I've done is I've taken this empty e.l.f. HD powder. I've poured some in here, so it's gonna be a lot easier for me to apply. I like to bake the under eye area, and what I mean by baking is, so you take the powder and you press a lot of it into the spot that you want to set. You're gonna look like a little bit of a crackhead for a few minutes. It's really going to pay off in helping this area. It's not gonna crease, and it's not gonna dry out either. You automatically think if you're gonna put this powder on, make your under eye crackle and look really, really crumbly and dry. But I actually find the opposite. We're baking, we look like crackheads. It's cool. We're gonna let this set for a few minutes. After a few minutes, what I would do is I'd take a fluffy brush and dust away the excess that I have put under my eyes to bake. And so it's really easy. Just dust it away, and you're left with a really bright under eye area. What I found about this RCMA No Color Powder is that it's not dry. It's a very hydrating powder, so I feel like I don't get dry with this at all. Right now, I'm gonna just go ahead and touch up my blush and highlighter that I applied earlier. Some of that got wiped away or blended out whenever I was doing my baking. The last thing that I like to do to minimize the appearance of dark circles under the eyes with my makeup is to make sure that I use an eyeshadow that's diffused out underneath the eye. I'm using MAC Swiss Chocolate with a pencil brush. This, you know, you think this is not gonna really help me. I feel like it's gonna make my under eye area look more dark. And this, I find the opposite to be true. When I diffuse my crease color that I use under my eye, I feel like it really helps my eyes stand out and my under eye area look a little bit brighter. Of course, I've got to go and do my mascara. Okay, so there we have it. I have covered my under eye circles, and that's it. We look more awake, we look more put together. It's worth taking the extra few minutes to do some color correcting and some brightening under the eyes if you have the time. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and you found it helpful. Please leave a comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on social media, follow my blog, love me. That's basically all I'm asking. Yes, love me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day. Bye.